Well, hello and welcome to my world, folks. Welcome to Talk Leadership with Cedrick. You know, everybody needs a little TLC, and I am Cedrick LaFleur, your host. I am excited to be here with you today. Talk Leadership with Cedrick is where we focus on leadership, personal growth with business leaders, educators, and local thought leaders. Our goal is to introduce our audience to leaders who are making an impact with innovative ideas. You know, our guiding leadership principle is the law of contribution, which says growing yourself enables you to grow others. See, you can't give what you don't have. So first, you must grow yourself in order to grow others. Now, we believe that leaders like yourself will help us help others. So tonight, we have another dynamic leader with us tonight. And, you know, every week I like to do a proper introduction of my guest. So let me do a proper introduction of our guest tonight. And also, April is Women's Empowerment Month on Talk Leadership with Cedrick. So tonight we have, for the final show in the month of April, Miss April Hawley.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So April is a breakthrough leadership coach that has helped many women unpack emotional baggage, transform their physical body, and regain financial control. And has also done she's also done this within her own life. Her powerful story of how she evolved into becoming an innovative, empowering, and life-changing coach allows those who hear her story to be challenged, equipped, and empowered. April is a member of the John Maxwell team, where she's a certified speaker, trainer, and coach in leadership development, communication, and team building. April is also a DISC behavioral analysis trainer. April is the co-founder of M21 Empowerment Coaching and M21 Female Empowerment, the Prison Transformational Initiative, and the creator of the Power Her Full Women's Summit. Both M21 Empowerment Coaching and Prison Transformational Initiative are focused on impacting the culture by breaking barriers through leadership and communication. April has also been recognized as an influential and peak performer at U.S. Cellular for the past 9 years. April's transformational story from addiction to redemption has captured many different audiences, including being featured on several podcasts. Her passion is one that is contagious, as she is deeply rooted in her purpose. April is also a SMB account executive for U.S. Cellular, the phone company, in their oh man, hold on a second here. I'm getting all confused here. Sorry. April is a SMB account executive for U.S. Cellular Corporate Business Channel for the past 9 years. She's also a Pinnacle Club peak performer 5 of those years. And she stays in the top 1% of the company. So welcome, April, to the show.
Thank you. I am very appreciative to be here tonight, especially on the last episode.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to have you here tonight. You know, so I read your bio, April, but our audience also likes to hear, you know, a little bit from you, a little bit about your background. How did you get to leadership, and how did you get to what you're doing today?
So it's a lot to unpack, but I'll do it in a small amount of time. But really, it started from the addiction part, and that's where I've always been a natural born leader, and so you can either use that to influence people in a positive or negative way. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And I grew up tough. I mean, I lived in 3 states, 43 different homes, and addiction was just part of generational curses, to be honest with you. It started when I was 12, and it didn't stop until I was 30. And what happened was on 12/12/12, through some unfortunate situations, I was presented, do you want to be a parent or do you want to be a drug addict? And at that point, I had to make a decision, like, are my kids. They were very young at this point, but do I want them to grow up like I did? And all of these things that I had imagined of being this amazing parent, the way that I justified using was I was ethical. I was an ethical drug addict. I was an ethical drug dealer, meaning I didn't lie. I didn't steal. I went to work every day. The house is clean. The kids were fed. So that's how I justified it. The only reason that I thought it was okay is because I wasn't taking out of my kids' mouth or our household. I was selling drugs on the side to pay to do it for free. And I felt like I was helping people because I wasn't ripping them off, and I was the service person. So that's where sales all started in my blood.
Okay, all right. And so if you don't mind sharing with the audience, so what was your addiction?
It was so methamphetamines, marijuana, and you wouldn't think, people think that there's a stereotype, right? That you have to have no teeth, that you have to look disgusting, and typically, yeah, that is true. But then there's that 1% of people that take care of themselves, that don't let anybody know what's really going on behind closed doors, and that was me. Like I used, I dealed, and I did everything that everybody else did every single day, but I just yeah.
Wow. So then you said on 12/12/12, you had to make this decision. Was that the date that then you said, I'm changing my life from this point forward?
Yeah, so the kids had to pack some clothes. They had to go stay at grandma's house for a couple months. And that day, after 18 years of addiction, that day was the last day I've ever used. There was no turning back. That's the leadership inside. That really knowing how to be a true leader is knowing when to step up and when you need to pivot and things need to change. And that was the moment that God said enough was enough, and helped me change my life around year by year. And the first test, I'll be honest with you, was 4 months after I got clean. My mom died of brain cancer, and everybody would have thought, hey, let her relapse. It's okay. She's hurting. But no, I made a promise to myself, to my kids, and God that I was going to continue to move forward and do it clean. And that's what I did every single day. And that wasn't just the first test that I was given about how bad I wanted to stay clean and how bad I wanted to change my life around.
Wow. Well, that is awesome, and great testament to you and what you wanted, what your kids meant to you, so that you can dedicate the rest of your life to ensuring that you provided a good life for them. And then the second part of that is dedicating it, making the decision for yourself, right?
Right.
To live a better life. Well, that's awesome. So, April, tell us a little bit about your business. I know you recently did some pivots in what you're doing, but tell us a little bit about your business and how your pivot that you did is tied into your business.
So I've worked for US Cellular for the last 9 years, and I actually was a part-time retail associate inside the store. And that's what allowed me to really start getting creative with what my passions were. And in 2018, after a crazy divorce, I took the last $5,000 I had and joined the John Maxwell team. When you join the John Maxwell team, you think that that's going to solve all your problems, but it's really the power in proximity. It's the power of people that you're surrounding yourself with that allow you to start growing and developing. And I had met Tuan Nguyen, which is my best friend, business partner, and we had started M21 Empowerment. And it's really, helping people break through with leadership and communication. It's both of our passions. And, little by little, we started, coming up with ideas, teaching people how to communicate through DISC. But then, you start evolving from there. And realize that without systems, you can't really move forward. The systems are a huge part of how you develop as well. And those things you can't really get taught. You just have to learn as you grow. Mm-hmm. And so in about November of 2020, I want to call that the depression. I had another life-changing situation where I got COVID. I was very, very sick. I did not think, because I'm so healthy, that I would ever get that sick, but I did. And 10 days after that, my dad passed away. And I just knew, like, there was just something inside me that said I needed to change. I needed to level up personally, professionally. And with that, I got promoted to the corporate business channel through US Cellular. And through all of the growing I did through being an entrepreneur, you have to prospect, you've got to message people, you're trying to get them to buy into your coaching. And because coaching is, everybody, if you get nothing out of this, everybody should have a coach. It is one of the most underutilized tools that people don't even realize that they should have. But through that, I took on this challenge through US Cellular. So I pivoted from going part-time and coaching to being full-time and being a CEO of essentially my own business accounts through US Cellular. Yes, they're the corporate provider, but it's me that drives that business. And had I not learned that through being an entrepreneur of hard work, I would not be as successful as I am.
Well, awesome. So, when you step out on that journey to say, I want to be an entrepreneur and I want to run my own business, is one thing. But then when you have corporate on the other side, sometimes those are conflicting interests, right? Because on the one hand, you want the security of that paycheck coming in. On the other hand, you have that burning desire to be that entrepreneur, to be that free spirit out there doing the things that you want to do and all that type stuff, right? So how did you balance that tightrope there to say, oh, man, I want to go back into corporate full time versus I still want to do this, and how are you juggling that now?
I scaled back for a moment through coaching, not because it's not my passion. It is 100% my passion, and it's what I was born to do, is to coach and lead. But everybody needs that growth spurt. So there's things that I was learning as an entrepreneur that you couldn't learn. So when I was part-time, I had the time to be able to take on my coaching clients. And really what I did was I helped newly divorced women unpack their emotional baggage, transform their physical body, and regain financial control. But I had to do that as a leader. Like, it took all three of those pillars in order for me to, heal through my marriage, heal through being overweight from drinking too much after and during the divorce, like figuring out what it's like to be a single mom, trying to regain financial control. And yes, the stability was great because US Cellular provided a steady paycheck for me, but the thrill of knowing that I was changing women's lives by implementing these steps through my coaching, that's transformational. That's where the connection and the communication and all these things come together. And the balance wasn't always easy. There were times where I was completely burnt out. You probably know that as well. You're on burnout. You're like, how do I keep doing this? And then you find that other coach or that other client that fuels your fire again. And I did that through creating like the Powerful Women Summit. And that was things that kept me motivated and going when I was trying to juggle both things. So.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. Definitely trying to juggle both of those things is always it's always a challenge for that for the free spirit. So what made you initially decide to get into leadership development space?
There was just this, especially for women, I just seen that us being right now, let's be real, there's a lot of single moms out there and they are the leaders of their household. And we're trying to juggle so many hats. And that alone, I knew that I could be the light in someone else's darkness, that I could help women lead their selves to greatness by, doing all this inner work. We don't realize that we rely on other people to try to make us whole. But if you take the time for personal development, you take the time to work on your body, to do all of these things, that you actually become the greatest leader that you'll ever meet.
Yes, you're absolutely right about that. You are when you understand that growth is a part of your journey and has to be a part of your journey. Then, yeah, you can be the greatest leader that you've ever met. Right. I like that. So, tell us, April, what it is what excites you and makes you smile when you get up in the morning.
Knowing that I'll never settle. And I know that might sound crazy, but there's just this fire that burns inside my stomach that excites me to know there's a new challenge every day. So people fear change, when if you just embrace that change and realize that that is what develops the strongest leader possible, there's nothing to fear. If I can overcome addiction, I can mental, physical, sexual abuse. If I can overcome all of these things, there's nothing in my life that doesn't make me jump out of bed in the morning and say, what do you have for me today? Like, what challenge are you going to give me to become better? And I literally think that way every day. It's not always that easy to stay motivated, but realizing how much I've overcome makes it easier to motivate myself.
Awesome. So I like what you said. Don't fear change, embrace it. Right.
Yeah.
So there are some women that are listening, and I know your target audience is single women, maybe who've just gone through divorce or some traumatic event, helping them change their life, gain financial control, and to live a healthier lifestyle. There may be some that are listening to you right now, or going to listen to the replay at some other point in time. Help them, April, with better understanding how they can turn that switch like you did. You had 12-12-12 was the day that you turned that switch. Help them. Just give them one or two pieces of advice that can help them turn that switch and change, and know that they don't have to live in that predicament for the rest of their life.
That's an interesting, and it's a hard question, because it's not just one thing that
Sure.
you can do. It's many things, but I'll tell you that when you believe in yourself, and when you actually love yourself, and you never settle for less than you deserve, you will not stay in a situation that is no longer healthy. You have to cut the chaos. You have to realize that there is, so I call it master your morning. I'll go through it really, really quick, but this is how I started to gain momentum. Is I would stop in the morning and I would meditate for 5 minutes. That's the M. I did affirmations for 2 minutes every single day. I fed myself healthy things about me. The S is I scribed. So I journal about my personal journey every single day. The T is I would think positive thoughts, and I would visualize the life that I desire, and I would move towards that every single day, step by step, little steps every single day. The E is the exercise. I exercise 30 minutes a day so that I would move my body to motivate myself to do more and be more. And then R is I would read personal development. I would listen to personal development, whether that's on, Audible or podcast, anything that I could do to get my hands on something that would help me financially, mentally, or physically change into a better version of myself. Because what you put in your mind is what you become. And that's where I would start, is just mastering your morning. Taking control of how you start your day is so important.
Yeah, I like that. MYM, master your morning. Okay. I can see that's going to be some new t-shirts and cups. And
I like your thoughts.
So, April, the world went through COVID, and I think, I know everybody went through it and had a difficult time trying to transition initially with this. So I know you're doing your business part-time now, but when you think about your business, how are you positioned to make it through that next big business interruption? We don't know what it is and when it's going to be or anything like this, but what did you learn basically in this that's going to help you be able to make a faster transition in the future?
Systems. I can't tell you how important just having systems in play, getting the right teammate, the right team members to be able to support you. You know, doing everything yourself isn't healthy, and so building the right team. You know, they say that you know, everybody was like, get off Facebook, but I'll be 100%. That's where a lot of people are finding their business. So you need to stay plugged in into your social media, and just seek out people in your circle. There is power in proximity. So just keep surrounding yourself with people that can keep leveling you up. But systems are so important to implement into your business, whether that's, you know, a web page or a click of a button to be able to see your portfolio. There's just so many tricks of the trade now, but getting with business like-minded people is very important.
Sure, absolutely, 100% agree with you on that. If you had a client that was sitting right here next to you, I'd say, hey, ding dong, they ring the doorbell and I go open the door and there's your client walks in the door, right? What would they say about you right now?
That she is one of the most loyal mentors that actually care. And I'll just say what they have told me is that I literally give them light at the end of their darkness, to be able to know that they never have to settle, and that I always have their back no matter what time. I'm not the typical coach. People would call me at 2 a.m. in the morning. You know, there is boundaries, don't get me wrong, but when you know somebody's hurting, we have the ability as communicators to be able to impact people's lives and to make a connection that can literally change the rest of their life. And that's what I'm here to do.
Okay, great. That's awesome. What would you say is your biggest entrepreneurial, what's the biggest challenge in your entrepreneurial journey?
Social media. You know, you always got to feel like you have to reply to each comment, that you're always having to stay plugged in. And, you know, the big piece of advice is it's okay to take a break. So.
Okay. Yeah. Social media is one of those things that, one, we know it's not going away anytime soon, at least, right? But it's one of those things as I have to be on it. If I'm not on it, I may not reach it. May not be growing my audience. However, it's taken me away from doing some of the things that I may want to do. Right. So you got to have that. You got to find that good balance between it. As we sit here and talk on 5 different social media. We're on 5 different Facebook pages right now, live, LinkedIn live, and YouTube live. So there you go.
But the one thing I have to give people advice that helped me is I just removed the notifications off of my front screen of my phone. When I did that, I took my power back and I no longer felt obligated to continually look at my social media because I didn't see the notifications, like there was 10, there was 20. And I did that over a year ago. And I will tell you, the freedom that gave me was unreal.
Wow. Okay. Well, that is definitely one of those things that sometimes you have to think about, think about doing that. Great advice. So, you know, leaders come in all different types of packages with different types of strengths. April, what strengths do you feel are important for successful leaders? That give us, a couple of strengths that are important for them.
Integrity. It's like without integrity, you're nothing. To be a communicator, to be able to communicate and to connect with impact. I want to say those are the top three. I mean, you have to have integrity. You've got to know how to communicate, and you have to know how to connect to people. Without those three, I don't know how you would be a successful leader.
Sure. Yeah. And I'm just writing these down because it's important. So what she said is integrity, be a great communicator, and know how to connect with people. And we know that connection increases your influence in every situation, right? So yeah, I agree with you. Those three are definitely some of the three most important skills that every leader needs. Now, we also know that good leaders ask great questions. So, what are some good questions that maybe even either you have asked or someone has asked of you, and you went, "Wow, that's a great question."
You know, I had this wrote down, but I would say necessarily not the best question, but I hear it often. How do you balance, being a mom, an entrepreneur, and in the corporate world, and really the great responses, you learn to balance, and you learn to be a mass juggler. So I don't know if that's a great question, but yeah.
Okay, no, if that works. So, if you're going to be a great juggler, then you have to be able to juggle, right? So,
The John Maxwell team through Christian.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So, a lot of times entrepreneurs, April, will their passion gets them, and they jump out into the world and say, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to start my business, right? They're excited. They get running. They get some advice and all this type of stuff. And then all of a sudden they put their product out there and no one responds to it. No one signs up for their service. They knock on some doors and they get a lot of, no, we're not interested right now. Don't come back here anymore. All of those type things. And then they decide that, you know what, this is not for me. I'm going to throw in the towel. What would you give us a couple of pieces of advice, 2 or 3 pieces of advice that you would give to that entrepreneur that's sitting out there right now and they're thinking about throwing in the towel?
Get a coach. It is very important. Just because we are coaches or whatever product it is, you need a coach, because that helps you learn skills that you may have not known. I think that, wait, repeat the question real quick. I had a good follow.
So people that may be getting ready to throw in the towel because they're not getting the results that they want.
Yeah, I that's what I was going to say. The coach, you have to have a coach. You cannot give up, because it's going to get hard. It's going to get, I can remember myself wanting to say, I'm not cut out for this. What you have to do is you have to dig your feet in, and you start reaching for your resources. You start realizing, who are people that I play with on an everyday basis that can help me start building. You need to know who's my IT guy. Who can I lean on for, computer support? Who do I know that can help start getting me, into different groups? You got to stay connected. And you have to be present on social media. If you do not, as much as I say, yes, you get burned out. If you don't stay connected, you won't have an audience. And that's just the reality of it. So don't give up, but get an audience.
Don't give up, but give an audience, right? Yeah. And getting an audience is one of those things that people struggle with. What are some of the ways that you found as a good way to get that audience?
Asking great questions on my social media. I think that's huge. Engaging. So it is very, very important. These are very little things that I'm going to tell you that are secrets, especially for like Facebook, social media. But you need to prime your social media 20 minutes before you post anything. That allows the rhythm of Facebook to get your name flowing And that's going to reach your audiences and reach different people that typically wouldn't see you. So you do need to prime your feed. It's very, very important. You need to start reaching out to different type of people that are in your industries, and then that will allow you to keep growing. And you have to post. People say, well, I don't want to share my personal business. If you want to be an entrepreneur, especially somebody on Facebook or coaching or something with social media involved, you have to get on, you have to do lives. You have to get your face there. You got to be able to jump on and ask hard questions. So yeah, you've got to get in front of the camera, whether it's uncomfortable or not. I actually did a 30-day live Facebook challenge where every single day, no matter what, you had to get on camera for 2 minutes a day on your Facebook Live. And I will tell you, you will very fast and very quickly lose the fear of going live. It doesn't even matter anymore, which I'm sure you feel the same way at this point.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with you. I tell people all the time that before COVID, I was on social media, but I wasn't in front of camera. I was just posting things. In terms of like text or pictures or something like this, but never anything live, right? Until two friends challenged me to go live, and then I've been live ever since, and now I have a live show every day of the week. So now I can't get from in front of the camera. Facebook calls me sometime and say, hey, can you slow down a little bit?
I love that.
So, yeah, I agree with you. You have to be out there. You have to be transparent. You have to be willing to share your story with people so that they can buy into you, right? If you get on and you just tell all of the good stuff, but never your struggle, people are not going to see you as authentic, even though if it may your successes may be real. But everybody has something that they struggle with or were not good with. And if you're not willing to share that and be transparent, people are not going to buy into it.
It's truly the know, the like, and the trust. And my vulnerability and my transparency is what has built my audience. I am the most real. How you see me now is how you see me on my Facebook. I talk about my addiction. I talk about my divorce and my struggle, how I struggled with alcohol, how parenting is hard. I share the good, the bad, the ugly. But the thing is that people know that you're real and that you really, truly care enough to help them.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with you. And I always share my story as well. People see the financial success now, but they don't see the struggle that I had many years ago. And so I make sure that I share that with people, and so that they understand that this is just the end result, but it's not the whole story. And they need to see that and hear that, so then they can buy into the story.
And the best part of that, Cedrick, is that is the best point of a real speech, is that you start out with everything you did that was terrible and how your life was bad, not just yours, but all of us. And people always love that comeback story of how you really struggled and were down and out. And because you kept pushing and persevering, that you broke through the barriers, then it was great.
Yeah, absolutely. So, April, we have a segment on the show that we call Would You Rather? So let's play a quick round of Would You Rather? So, would you rather meet your great-grandparents or your great-grandchildren?
Great-grandchildren.
Great-grandchildren. All right. Would you rather have a life rewind button or a life pause button?
A life pause.
Pause. All right. Would you rather no one show up at your wedding or no one show up at your funeral?
No one show up at my wedding.
All right. Would you rather be stuck in an elevator or stuck on a ski lift?
An elevator.
Would you rather have world peace or stop world hunger?
stop world hunger, because then that will cause peace. People won't be hangry.
Okay. All right. Would you rather be an adult your whole life or a kid your whole life?
An adult.
An adult. All right. Would you rather own a private island, April, or a private jet?
A private island.
Okay. All right. Would you rather have free Apple products forever or free Wi-Fi wherever you go?
Free Wi-Fi, because I'm Android all the way.
Oh, God. You can't win them all. So, would you rather be a ninja or a pirate?
A ninja.
A ninja. All right. Yeah, I like that. Would you rather be best friends forever with your favorite celebrity or date your celebrity crush for only 2 years?
Be best friends forever.
Best friends forever. All right. Last one. Would you rather have $1 million in Amazon gift cards or $100,000 in real money?
$100 million in Amazon, because I can turn around and sell it.
Okay.
I'm a salesperson. I can figure it out.
All right, awesome. So what's been one of the most defining moments in your life, April?
The day I got clean. The day that I had to decide that there was no going back. And I truly knew that that was the day that was forever going to change the rest of my life. And I've never even one time looked back, ever.
Okay, awesome. So 12, 12, 12.
12, 12, 12.
All right.
Pretty awesome numbers too, aren't they?
Yeah.
Very synchronistic.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, if there are one or two things that you've learned about yourself, being an entrepreneur, what would those things be?
That I'm resilient, and that no matter what, you just keep getting up every single day, putting one foot in front of the other. And with every small step, you have one great big mission that comes out of it. Pretty awesome.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So April, so let's say kids are gone. Nobody's home beside you and your four walls. And I know that you're, I'm not gonna say a health food nut, but you are a person that exercises all the time. I see you doing that type of stuff, right? So, but no one's home, just you and the four walls. What dessert are you gonna go and eat?
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake. All right. Okay. What's your favorite vacation spot and why is that?
Anywhere that there's water, sun, and sand. Don't care where it's at, but if there's a beach, there's sand, and there's sun, I'm your girl.
Okay. All right. Water, sun, and sand. Awesome. April, that growth has to be intentional in order for us to get better and to change and transform, right? So what do you do for personal and or professional growth? And if you're reading a book, what's a book that we should know about that maybe we should read?
So for personal growth, I always find mentors within, if I'm working in the entrepreneur world, I'm always going towards a mentor that can help me grow there. And in my corporate world, I find mentors that can help me grow and develop as well, because it is essential to your growth. If you are the smartest person in the room, you better get out of that room really quick, or you're going to stay stagnant and growth will not happen. So I am constantly reaching for people that are outside of my comfort area that I in some ways think, I don't want to say that they're better than me, but they are definitely more developed than myself. And I reach for them so that I can keep growing to each new level of my life that I know I'm destined for. And then books. So this book, which is The Miracle Morning, literally changed my life. And I 100%, 2017, I did an entire group on this. I actually changed 15 people's lives out of this. We still stay in touch. And this group was international. He's in Singapore, his wife, and he's actually doing his own group now. And I'll tell you, this book is amazing. So if you guys have not checked this out, it's The Miracle Morning. It's amazing. And that's kind of where the Daily Savers came in. I said it's Master My Morning, but really it's the Daily Savers. And then this one is for my sales growth, which is fanatical prospecting. If you're not prospecting, whether that is in being an entrepreneur, whether you like it or not, you are prospecting and you are a salesperson. Even if you think those are the most disgusting words you've ever heard, you are. Face reality, that's what it is. And the same in my sales world now. We prospect, we grow, and retain business. And if you're not constantly being innovative and trying to figure out ways to grow that business, whether it's your personal business or your professional business, you're going to be stuck and you're going to be broke.
Yeah.
That's not a word for me. No broke ever again.
That is, you're absolutely spot on with that. So I absolutely love that. So for this year, and this year is kind of young still, but let's just say the last 12 months. Mm-hmm. What do you say that's been the best thing that's happened to you?
Everybody in America is probably going to kill me when I say this, but COVID. It allowed me to pause. Something that I do not do, and I didn't realize it until COVID hit, is I never enjoyed my journey. I never stopped and celebrated the wins. I just would jump from goal to goal, not ever really digesting how hard I worked for it, how important it was to me. I was already so fast going to the next one. And God allowed me to pause and say, what are you thankful for during the most trying times of your entire life? I changed my career. In the middle with COVID, I changed my career, moving up to another level. My business took a turn and my dad passed away. And through all of that, I realized that if you do not enjoy the journey, you're missing out on the whole reason for the purpose of it. So
awesome. So it gave you that moment. It's the reflection that it gave you that you enjoyed about it. Okay. Really like that.
Yeah,
so
I was just going to say that faith doesn't make sense until you look at things in reverse. And I live by that. And I tell myself that all the time. It truly is. You don't know what faith is until you stop, pause, and look back on how much you had to grow in order for all the great things to happen.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome stuff there. So, we've all, we're all on the journey. We're all doing different things. We're all had a lot of successes, but we've also had failures. And, outside of your drug addiction, what's a failure that you say that you really learned from, and what did you learn from it, and how did it transform you?
My marriage. After 12 years of being with somebody and you realizing that it hurts, it's painful, and you can't make anybody change, you have to step up, take leadership into your own hands, and you have to change yourself, and then you have to watch everything change around you. That is through my darkest times, which was my divorce, people dying around me. Those are the times that I grew the most, because I had to dig deep and find the strength that I didn't know I had. And that's probably one of the hardest things to do, is when both of my parents are passed away. I lost my marriage. As a single mom with 3 kids, and I thought I could have sat and felt sorry for myself, and not one person would have blamed me. But I knew that I had to grow from this experience, and if I wanted to grow, I needed to dig very deep and start figuring out what was causing me to contribute to that failure of that marriage. Why was I drinking so much? Why was I to, be chaotic? And when I really dug deep and started figuring out the why, everything started changing around me.
Wow. I like that. We're coming up almost here to a couple of last questions here, April, and the conversation has been good. And audience, thanks for staying tuned with us as we unpack these things with April Hawley. We talked about earlier people that may want to throw in the towel, but what about people who want to become an entrepreneur? Right? They're thinking about it. They're sitting on the sideline. They're watching other entrepreneurs live out their dreams, and they haven't made that jump yet because they're scared. What? Give us one or two things you would tell someone if they were talking to you and they came to you and said, "April, I want to be an entrepreneur. Here's my plan, but I'm just scared." What would you tell them?
Jump and build your wings on the way down. Everything you do in life is going to be scary, but do you want to be scared thinking, I could have done this, but instead I settled for doing nothing and always have to sit there and think, I could have, I would have, I should have? You just need to jump and you will figure it out on the way down. There is nothing that you can't do by putting one foot in front of the other, taking a small step and building your communication and your connections, and you will be successful.
Awesome. I love it. Build your wings on the way down. Absolutely love it. So my final question for you, April, and I've had a good time talking with you today, but my final question is this. If there was a book that was written about you, what would the name of the book be? And what would the summary in the back of the book say about you?
It actually was Addiction to Redemption, is the name that I was going to name the book. And it's talking, just giving a perseverance of never stopping, and through the darkest days, finding the light at the end of the tunnel, and never giving up. I think, it's hard to summarize it in words, I guess. But it's knowing that you'll never give up, and that there's just one more step got me in the right direction every single day.
Awesome. I really like that. Addiction to Redemption. I can even see shirts that have that on there. Addiction to Redemption. I can see mugs. I can see a whole campaign around Addiction to Redemption. So the question I have for you is, April, when's the book coming out?
So actually, it was I had my chapter wrote a year ago, and long story short, it wasn't meant to come through. There was about 10 of us that came together, and for some reason, COVID put the kibosh on this, and it was hard and hurtful for a lot of us. It's still written, and so I gave myself about 3 years and to get through the thickness of this corporate position, and then I was going to go full force right back into once I figured out the balance, right? Because I think that's the biggest thing, is you got to learn how to balance the heavy part so that you can pull back in your path. And so once the balance comes back into place, all of my coaching and book writing, all the things that I have on my vision board now will come right back into fruition.
Awesome. Well, make sure you get that book out there. People need to hear your story, right? There's a lot of people that are out there that are struggling, and a lot of times, April, they think that they're the only one. And say that again.
I said it's people feel alone, and then they stay trapped in that shame, and that keeps them stuck in that addiction. That's why I share it with everybody, because I want them to see that, yes, it's shameful what I went through, but if I keep sharing it, if it changes one person's life, it's worth me. That came with me.
Absolutely. So, yeah, get your book out there. Thank you very much again for coming on the show. I have totally enjoyed having a conversation with you. Hopefully, you've enjoyed it as well.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
awesome. So, folks, I want to tell you that tomorrow, Wednesday, make sure you tune in at 12:30 for Cut the Card Lunch and Learn series. Joanna Rincon and myself have a great lesson planned for you on tomorrow, 12 p.m. Central Time on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Not Instagram, but yeah, Instagram and YouTube. And then remember, Friday morning, this Thursday, we won't have a live show because I'll be on the road. But Friday morning, tune in for Friday Mental Motivation. You know, I'm going to get you started Friday morning hard, fast, and get you ready to have a strong finish to your week so that you can go out and conquer the weekend. You have to be that lion every day. And it never stops. So make sure you tune in. You know, on Sunday, we're going to have the 10-minute word, and we're going to bring the word to you. We're going to bring some inspiration, some motivation, everything that you need, a little encouragement so you can start off next week strong, prayed up, and ready to go. 10-minute word Sunday morning at 9:30 Central Time. We'll be right here for you. And then we'll see y'all next week with different things. Tonight, tune in at here in just a few minutes to Black Entrepreneurs Institute Live. We're going to have a phenomenal young entrepreneur with us. She's Zoe is her name, and she is I want to say Zoe Butler is her name, and she is 8 or 9. Awesome entrepreneur. You want to hear her story, folks. So tune in to the Empowered Living channel, or you can tune in to the Black Entrepreneurs Institute channel. I will try to share it on my channel. I'm going to be getting on the road and heading to Louisiana, but I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. Remember, as I tell you, folks, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu, and don't be on the menu. Thank you guys, and good night. Bye-bye.